We will now have a moment of silence. Thank you very much. Let us be seated. I will now ask the Secretary to read the first order of the day.
Debate on vote number 38, Water Affairs Appropriation Bill.
Thank you very much. I will now call upon the Honorable Minister of Water and Sanitation.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson, the Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee and committee members, Honorable Members of Parliament, my colleagues, Deputy Ministers present, our Deputy Minister for Water and Sanitation, Chairpersons and CEs of water boards and other water sector entities, honored guests, fellow South Africans, a very good morning. Today we present ourselves before you with humility and honor as the honorable members of this fifth parliament. Let me therefore take this opportunity to congratulate you as a democratically elected team of representatives of our people. We further congratulate the ANC, which has once again been given a mandate to move South Africa forward through radical socio-economic transformation. Today's budget speech is based on the 2014-2015 annual performance plan of the then Department of Water Affairs, and it will primarily focus on water-related matters, since all matters related to sanitation will be transferred by the end of September 2014. Chairperson, as guided by the National Development Plan, the NC Manifesto, the second National Water Resource Strategy, we have resolved that we will apply a seamless integrated water approach. This will ensure that we provide a sustainable and holistic value chain of water supply from source to tap and from tap back to source. As we strive to consolidate our successes and celebrate the good story in the water sector, we shall, with immediate effect, use this budget to deal with 10% of existing services that are dysfunctional and a further 26% where the provision of water is not reliable. The continued disruption of water services and vandalism has prompted us to take issues of protecting our infrastructure quite seriously. We also intend to act radically against those in our establishment who collude with owners of water trucks by disrupting the supply so as to wrongfully amass public funds. We see this as an act of corruption that we have already started to deal with, working together with local and provincial government, as well as other law enforcement agencies. Whilst water tankering is a good intervention in cases of emergency, it cannot be a permanent solution. For us to reduce high dependency on outsourcing our responsibilities, a change management process will unfold in due course so as to ensure that we have the skills required to perform in the water family. Where the skills do not exist, we'll be left with no option but to source the requisite skills with the support of the Department of Public Service and Administration. We'll, together with other relevant departments, ensure that we contribute to both job opportunities and inclusive growth by affording local communities with capacity for consideration in the allocation of contracts. New ideas and innovations informed by research and development in partnership with our own Water Research Commission will be welcomed so that we can also break new ground informed by science and technology. Ownership of access to water continues to perpetuate inequality in our country. Working together with all South Africans, we will, in this financial year, open up this protected space so as to ensure that water as a natural resource is available and shared by all. This includes those who live in villages, townships, as well as beneficiaries of land reform. The participation of our people in the water sector is key. We'll extend our stakeholder relations by ensuring that water and sanitation forums are established in every metro and district, representing communities, business, academia, women, youth, and people with disability. In the first week of August 2014, we'll convene a two-day summit where all stakeholders in the water family will come together and define our working relationship. We'll move away from a one-size-fits-all approach where every district or local municipality has the powers and functions of a water services authority, yet its viability and capacity is questionable. Together with South African Local Government Association, we'll further engage on issues related to water tariffs, water loss, and water preservation. We'll also focus on a number of single-purpose dams that supply those communities which have previously been denied access to these dams. And just to name a few, honorable members, I refer to the Jozini Dam in KwaZulu-Natal, the Taung Dam in the Northwest, and the Konka Dam in the Eastern Cape. Honorable members, fellow South Africans, these are amongst the game changers we'll implement as we respond to the expectations of our people and the mandate given to this government. We'll act swiftly and decisively as we deal with nothing else but service to our nation. Honorable members, Chairperson, the total budget for the department for this financial year is 12.480 billion. During this year, spending focus will be on providing regional bulk infrastructure of water and wastewater treatment works which link water sources to local government infrastructure. In addition, the department will also transfer 2.6 billion in 2014-15 and 3.7 billion in 2015-16 to the water trading entity through the water infrastructure management. Thus, our budget vote per program will be as follows: 1.26 billion to administration, 597 million to water sector management, 2.919 billion allocated to water resource infrastructure, 121 million allocated to water sector regulation, and 7.7 billion is allocated to regional implementation programs. 32.5 million is allocated to international water cooperation. We are also developing a strategic sourcing and localization to focus on local content, and in this regard, we're collaborating with 3 departments: the Department of Trade and Industry, National Treasury, and the Department of Economic Development. Since our appointment together with the Deputy Minister, we have visited a few provinces to witness for ourselves the challenges on water and sanitation. We have had engagement with the premiers in the provinces of the Western Cape, the Free State, and the Northwest. The President has made a commitment on behalf of all of us to strengthen the capacity of our municipalities and thus improve the experience and services that our people get from this important sphere of government. We have noticed that each province or municipality has its own specific challenges. There were invariably a number of problems which could be classified as cross-cutting. In this regard, for example, the issue of aging infrastructure and the maintenance thereof remains a huge challenge across the board. Secondly, Chairperson, there is a lack of technical capacity to ensure that water is protected, conserved, managed, and controlled sustainably and equitably, as well as the capacity to perform operations and maintenance. I just want to highlight just a few of our current interventions. Whilst the Northwest Province requires special attention wall to wall, the municipalities of Madibeng, Ngaka Mudiri Mulema, Likwata Imani have been identified for early radical intervention. In Madibeng, the focus is on the villages around Oskral, Shakung, Mabuluka, Mututlung, Winterfeld, where boreholes are being refurbished. In Ngaka Mudiri Mulema, we are dealing with the institutional arrangements following the decision to disestablish Butilo Water Board and transfer these functions to either Makhalis Water or Sidibeng. We are also quite cognizant of the decision taken by the provincial government to place that municipality under the administration. And out of our own experience, we do believe that it is time to intervene radically in that district municipality. In Likwata Imani in Bloemhof, following the death of 3 babies due to water being contaminated by raw sewer, we took action to mobilize departmental resources and the Sidibeng Water Board to step in and stabilize the situation. We're currently reprioritizing funding to cover the 41 million required to refurbish the water supply. In the Free State, following our engagement with the Premier, we have taken swift action to deal with those areas where we have had to introduce water restrictions to both domestic and agricultural water users in the Modder and Caledon River systems due to the low rainfall this past summer season. We've also commenced with steps to mitigate the effects of the restrictions on the city of Mangaung and have commenced with the discharges, diversion of water from the Lesotho Highland Water Scheme. We have also initiated a study in the option of bringing water from Kharib Dam to improve the long-term water security for Mangaung. We are preparing action plans for Ngwate, Masilonyana, Mantsopa, Mafube, Nala, Metsimahulu, Lijueliputswa, and Mokaka municipalities. In Mpumalanga, we continue with our intervention with the provincial government and Randwater in Bushbuck Ridge. The project to construct reticulation and bulk distribution pipelines is making good progress. We have also intervened in Tembisilehani municipality together with the Tshwane Metro Council and Randwater so as to increase bulk water supply to Muloto, Gwamhlanga, Tweefontein and Kwaggafontein. However, honorable members, the permanent solution to the challenges of Tembisilehani will be to supply water from Loskop Dam. In Limpopo, we're dealing with urgent interventions in the Great Letaba local municipality in Tzaneen. In our Tambo district municipality, we're focusing on the regional bulk water and wastewater infrastructure. Work is progressing well in Makana with the collaborative approach between the department, local government, the Presidential Infrastructure Coordinating Commission and the Amatola Water Board to reinstate aging infrastructure. In Gauteng, our focus is on the Sidibeng Regional Sewer Scheme, where good progress is being made on the 4.2 billion regional scheme, which is intended to deliver an effective solution that will eradicate pollution in the Vaal River and create a regional bulk sanitation infrastructure solution to the southern region of Gauteng. The reports that we are getting from the above-mentioned areas suggest if we have been walking, we need to run to be able to intervene with speed to provide clean drinking water and decent sanitation to affected communities. In order to ensure delivery of water and sanitation services to South Africans, which we are charged with the responsibility of integrating our work. Furthermore, to facilitate effective and timely investment, a comprehensive investment framework for the water and sanitation sector is being developed in terms of SIP 18 under the Presidential Infrastructure Coordinating Committee. Capital investment in new water sanitation infrastructure for the entire value chain, including the refurbishment of existing infrastructure over the next 10 years, is projected to require an estimated 670 billion rands. Looking forward, we'll accentuate our seamless model in infrastructure development to manage the water resource from source to tap and back to source. Our infrastructure build program will address the challenge of lack of access as well as the unequal distribution of water resources. From this water infrastructure perspective, therefore, all our programs, the Accelerated Community Infrastructure Program, the Regional Bulk Infrastructure Program, the Municipal Water Infrastructure Grant, and all the large augmentation schemes form part of our integrated program intended to achieve our development objectives. With the completion of the Duop Dam, our focus is now to speed up the implementation of the bulk distribution system at an estimated cost of 7.6 billion. Construction of the first pipeline, which connects Steelport from the Duop Dam, is already well advanced. With regard to Moi Umgeni Transfer Scheme Phase 2, the Spring Grove Dam, which augments the yield of the Moi Umgeni system by 60 million cubic meters, increasing the total yield to 394 cubic meters per annum, was completed and benefits the economic hub of KwaZulu-Natal, including our municipalities eThekwini, Umgungundlovu, Msunduzi, Ugu, Sisonke, and Ilembe. Work is now being undertaken on the pipeline connecting the dam to Umgeni system. Chairperson, honorable members, fellow South Africans, we are pleased to inform you that good progress is being made with the prep work of the Lesotho Highlands Water Phase 2. This includes the advanced infrastructure in preparation for the construction of the Pudihadi Dam. Water delivery from the scheme is planned to commence by 2022. The cost of this project is estimated at 11.2 billion. The Mukolo and Crocodile River Pipeline project is also work in progress. Tenders for the raising of the Hazelmere Dam are currently under adjudication. The raising of the Glenwilliam Dam will commence in October this year at an estimated cost of 2.5 billion. The project is scheduled for completion in March 2017. As previously announced by the President, work is underway to speedily and urgently intervene on the Mzimvubu Water Project, which entails the development of a multi-purpose dam, the Ntabelanga Dam to supply new irrigation development, and the Laleni Dam for hydropower generation. This project will provide domestic and industrial water requirements in the Eastern Cape. Our department also has long-term plans for the Greater Letaba. We have initiated the raising of the Tzaneen Dam. the construction of new Nomita Dam for the Groote Letaba River Water Development Project in Limpopo. Significantly, progress has also been made, Chairperson and honorable members, on the acid mine drainage project, especially in the western and central bases around Gauteng. A tender will shortly be awarded for the eastern basin. Our President Jacob Zuma, has also reconstituted the Interministerial Committee on Acid Mine Drainage. The Regional Bulk Infrastructure Grant is a vehicle through which we endeavor to connect especially previously disadvantaged communities to water sources to address their water supply needs. Through this program, we'll implement local projects in which we build water schemes, refurbish water infrastructure, upgrade reticulation and distribution systems, as well as wastewater works. This program continues to make a very significant impact on improving local water security. Currently, 82 schemes are under construction, of which 10 will be completed during this year. May I hasten to add, honorable members, that the Municipal Water Infrastructure Grant that commenced in July 2013 will continue to address backlogs in specific water and sanitation projects, particularly within the 24 priority district municipalities as identified by the Cabinet. In presenting this budget before you, I would like to extend gratitude and many thanks to my Deputy Minister, my own friend and sister, Deputy Minister Pam Chwet, the former Deputy Minister of Land and Rural Development. I also want to take this opportunity, pay gratitude and humble myself before the Chair and members of this Portfolio Committee, the Acting Director General and senior management and staff of the department for your continued support and appreciation that it is not business as usual. Yasheshwa, we need radical transformation. Our people deserve nothing less but service that they are entitled to. As representatives of the people, you members of this honorable house, your oversight and demand for accountability will spur us on to ensure that we do all that we have to do within the confines of the relevant legislation, assisting the achievements of the programs of government, guided accordingly by the new growth path as well as the National Development Plan. Together with you, Chair and members of the committee, we shall also commit this department that will turn around the situation when it comes to financial controls and systems of the department. It can't be business as usual. Thank you, Nyabong.
Thank you very much, honorable member. I'm sure all honorable members will follow on the footsteps of the minister, who was really on time. I'll now call upon Honorable Lulu Johnson.
Chairperson, Honorable Minister Nomvula Mkunyane and all other ministers present, Honorable Deputy Minister Sis Pam Chwete and all Deputy Ministers present, Director General Belza and your bigger team, Water and Sanitation, comrades, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen here at E249 and those viewing in your comfort zones. Allow me from the onset, on behalf of the ANC, to support this budget vote number 38 on water affairs. In supporting this budget vote, our message to you, Minister and Deputy Minister, and your department, and all entities under your jurisdiction, is unambiguous. Continue with the good work started by the previous ANC Minister and Deputy Minister. Work that was started in 1994 to date, reflecting changes in the lives of ordinary people for the better. To be precise, in the year 1994, less than 5 million South African black households had access to water. By 2012, this number had increased to 11.6 million. Since 1994, no less than 13 dams have been built. Honorable Chairperson, our Constitution must always be our constant reminder and daily conscience, among others, that clean water continues to be the right for all to have access to in South Africa. Comrades, this budget vote debate takes place in the year that moves South Africa forward through faster water and sanitation service delivery. accounting officer, we have no option but to give real meaning to this revolutionary theme. Honorable Chairperson, at this juncture, allow me to pay our respect to all those that have lost their lives through water-related accidents. One death is too much. Every effort must be found to avoid such future accidents in our country. There's calls for collaboration among various national departments and governments in other spheres. Minister, we also meet as we apportion this budget in the year your ANC Youth League, my ANC Youth League, shall be turning 70 years since its formation by visionaries like Madiba, Mda, Sisulu, Limbete, among others. Let us pay homage to the Mandela Month, the father of our nation, our own ANC president, Rolihlahla Mandela, whose month this debate falls under. Our tribute in honoring the legacy of this giant of our century can only be a continuation of work started by his movement, the ANC, since its inception, that of uniting African brothers and sisters and changing their lives for the better, nothing less. Chairperson, let us applaud President Zuma for his visionary leadership that saw it fit that indeed water and sanitation be brought together under one department. This move is aimed at synergizing the two towards addressing some of the fundamentals that relate to the dignity of our people. Colleagues, compatriots, and fellow South Africans, May the 7th election gave the ANC another overwhelming mandate to further move South Africa forward. Thank you once again to the majority of South Africans for having chosen your movement, the ANC, to continue in its journey towards liberating all South Africans, black and white, oppressed and oppressed, rich and poor. Our people have always understood that our national democratic revolution is inherently radical. And its focus has and continues to be about socio-economic and political liberation. Water and sanitation, in addition to rural development, health, safety of our people, education and jobs, remains a priority towards socio-economic transformation of our country. Instructed by the 53rd Conference of the ANC, among others, resolved, I quote, to develop small dams, especially in rural areas, and provide every household with quality, clean water, which in the short term may include portable purification tanks and water tanks for rainwater harvesting to promote food security. This resolution mandates the ANC-led government to give meaning in realizing these goals beautifully enshrined in the People's Freedom Charter. Fellow South Africans, for the first time in our country, South Africa now has a vision, Vision 2030, under the able leadership and stewardship of President Zuma. Among others, our shared vision through the National Development Plan envisages a South Africa where every household shall have clean water by 2030. Minister and Team Water and Sanitation, with a committed Team Water and Sanitation, this is indeed doable. Ours shall be a robust oversight role seeking nothing less, but a measured progress based on annual achievement
Speaker.
towards 2030 target.
Madam Speaker, would the Honorable take a question?
No, later. National Development Plan clarifies its vision further about the importance of water, that it ensures an inclusive economic growth, poverty reduction, and significant reduction of inequality in South Africa. In keeping with the triple challenges of inequality, poverty, and unemployment engulfing South Africa today. Colleagues, our task is bigger than we had imagined. With this budget, we hit the road running, expected of us to pass it and get on with our oversight role and promote public discourse on the role of water in our society. Agriculture, forestry, beer producers, mining houses, energy producers, tourists, manufacturers, aquaculture, local government, the golf players, rural and urban dwellers, all are watching us and the steps we shall be taking moving forward out of this budget vote. Maintenance, research, training, and innovation become critical in achieving our set targets. Our growing economy and social development is giving rise to increasing demand of water. Data collation, and interpretation of such is critical to water management. Without accurate information, the correct picture of water situation in our country cannot be determined and policy could be compromised. Making water sexy, among the youth becomes important in this regards. It requires creativity with team water and sanitation for this sexiness to be realized. Training in the areas of engineering, economics, and finance is vital in this regards. Honorable Minister, Section 21, Section 68 of Water Services Act provides for the Minister of Water Affairs to establish and maintain national information system to record and provide data on the development, implementation, and monitoring of policy on water services, and to provide information to water services, institutions, consumers, and the public. All of this is done mindful of the challenges confronting South Africa, Africa, and the world with respect to changes in climate patterns worldwide. Water remains the primary area through which the impact of climate change is to be felt. Our own National Development Plan goes further in identifying our country not only is a contributor of greenhouse gas emissions, it is also vulnerable to the effects of climate change on health, water, and food, with serious impact on women and children. Mitigation and adaptation in the area of water is critical in this regards, that we identify and champion. Where there is a potential crisis, we must always identify a potential opportunity. Indeed, South Africa and Africa can be a water-smart country and continent through research and development. Through Independent Power Producer Program, we have started a process through our water in establishing hydropower stations. COP20 must indeed produce tangible results that will take our world climate change negotiations closer towards achieving the 1.5 degrees Celsius. Fellow South Africans, the government has projected a 670 billion rand spend in water infrastructure for the next 10 years. Partnership between public and private will be the only way towards achieving this target, both in terms of monetary and technical participation. Of critical importance from where we are seated must be about public participation, both at national and other spheres of government. Among other resolutions we took in our committee report is to engage the public works and COCTA departments. At this hour of destiny, we need to keep our institutional memory within our institutions. Consultants can therefore not be a solution, but only augment what government must do through a capable public works department. Implementers, as you roll out these infrastructure projects, training of locals must ultimately lead to employment of those that are to be trained in the localities. Equally important in these processes must be about the promotion of black businesses. Minister, tariff standardization has become more urgent in the life of disproportionate billing by the respective municipalities. It is about time that we delineate roles in water sector of our economy between a trader and a regulator. Fellow South Africans, water, like any other precious metal in South Africa, has to be preserved. Every drop counts. Like any mineral, it must be preserved for generations to come. Water is life, without which, waking up in the morning, you must bathe, you must brush your teeth, have a beverage, cook, take medication, among others. In conclusion, with the recent proclamation of the new Department of Water and Sanitation, we look forward to the incorporation of sanitation in the next 2015-2016 budget. We also look forward to the achievement of targets as set out in your annual performance plans. Filling of vacancies that are strategic must be made as a matter of urgent priority by Team Water South Africa. Once again, the ANC endorses the budget vote 38 of 2014, estimated spend at 12.5 billion rand. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable Balindlela.
Thank you very much, Chairperson and Honorable Minister, members of the Fifth Parliament, and fellow South African. Shortly after her appointment, the Honorable Minister Nomvula Mokonyane said that her tenure will be characterized by ensuring rural communities have access to water, upgrading water infrastructure, and working with residents to conserve the precious resource. This is a very laudable goal, Minister, and I know you as a person who will manage it. However, it has not to date materialized for most of our people. According to a report by the South African Human Rights Commission, we have a very serious problem on our hand. This report found that the areas which lack water and sanitation mirror apartheid spatial geography. National averages seem to indicate progress, but when the statistics are disaggregated in historically poor areas, they reflect limited access to these services. Lack of water and sanitation has a disproportionate impact on vulnerable groups, including women, children, and people with disabilities. Systemic failures in governance and budgeting, particularly in the implementation of and spending on projects, are very clear. These failures, Honorable Minister, point to the need for government to evaluate the current models of governance and funding. Water is life. Where there is no water, there is no life. It is of crucial importance that South Africans have set themselves a target of 100% access to water. Honorable Chairperson, it puzzles one's mind to notice how the lack of conservation of water has been unaddressed. There doesn't seem to be plans to curb this wastage. Most of the local municipalities have not addressed this issue. Honorable Minister, you can try, and I'm sure you will agree with me, there are taps that go on and on for the whole night, not monitored all the time, water going out, and there's no one to take responsibility for that. So these, we cannot afford to lose a single drop of water. It is appreciated that the minister has announced the new catchment agencies. We will watch this space, Minister. Honorable Minister, to have the Umzimvubu and other rivers used as catchment areas could be a good story to tell. But why such a long wait? Where is the plan? It has taken the people of the Eastern Cape and many provinces more than 20 years to have these dams to be built. Good plans have always been there, but no action on the part of the national government. I hope that you will crack the whip, Minister. Plants and animals cannot survive from lack of water, as the whole country watched with sadness and dismay how the poor animal on Honorable Chairperson of the NCOP, Ms. Thandi Modisa's farm, died. Is this a good story to tell? Definitely not. That is scandalous. The nation watched, and all of us, we wondered what was happening. The review, therefore, of the MDG indicators is very, very important as far as we are concerned, Minister. So far, the review shows that South Africa has achieved only one MDG 7 target of having by 2014 the proportion of people without sustainable access to safe drinking water. The data shows that the target is likely to be met by 2015. However, the backlog is as well the inability to manage dedicated sanitation programs due to the lack of administrative data systems that can be used for monitoring and evaluation purposes. We know how it is difficult, particularly in the settlement areas. So even though the target is likely to be met, the inherent risks, as outlined, have the potential to derail meeting this target. According to the National Development Plan, the Department of Water and Sanitation should ensure that the implementation of national strategies for water conservation and demand management are properly resourced and enjoy appropriate policy prioritization across the economy. According to the national development, it is therefore the stepped tariffs that are important to promote the conservation of water and electricity. Minister, Honorable Minister, in the DA-run Western Cape, the value of the DA difference is clear for all to see. In the Western Cape, 99.1% of households have access to piped water, and 90.5% have access to flush toilets. This is now the highest in the country. According to the 2012 sanitation report published by the Department of Water Affairs, the Western Cape and Gauteng are the provinces with the highest percentage of communities with adequate sanitation services. People have
Order,
done well
honorable
there.
members.
I need those people to also come and work in other provinces. How come that in the Western Cape and in Gauteng, there's been good
Madam
progress?
Chair, can I ask a question?
Government departments
Madam
cannot
Chair,
sit
can I
back
have a question?
and do nothing while people get sick and die
question,
with
Chair.
preventable
Would the
illnesses
Speaker take a question?
because of contaminated water, as they have done in the Northwest. The DA will continue to put as much pressure as possible on both the national and provincial departments to ensure that there is urgent action. Far too many South Africans have lost their confidence in this department, and we urgently appeal to the minister to take it in her stride and present this House with a comprehensive strategy to mitigate our risk of consuming contaminated water and securing our water source for generation. I thank you.
Thank you, honorable member. Ngicela ulunga ehloniphekile uKhawula athathe indawo yakhe.
Ngibingelele Honorable Chair, no Minister of Water and Sanitation, nabo bonke abahlonishwa esinabo lana. Ngizocela ungaphazanyiswa ngoba ngifuna ukuphazamisa omunye umuntu. Yes, as a EFF, no, ngeke impela ngisho ukuthi siyahambisana ngale budget ngendlela yokuthi abantu esisuka kubona phansi abanawo nhlobo amanzi. Ama-toilet awekho, nabasemalokishini, amamitha bebenawo asishuliwe, mayisishulo bashiya bengenamanzi. Akucatshwanga nokuthi baphuza amaphilisi or kunabantu abagulayo abafuna ukuneswa emakhaya. Sinezikweletu esingazazi ezibiza o200,000 ongazi ukuthi wawenzani. Siphinde futhi sikusho nokuthi nalabantu bamathenda abafika bezosebenza bethi basifakela amasuwa la eindaweni zethu kakhulukazi thina abantu abamnyama. Sinenkinga basilethela abantu uthola ukuthi abawazi umsebenzi bashiya bengayiqedile umsebenzi kodwa umasipala angakwazi ukuthi athi no angikwazi ukukunikeza imali yakho ngoba umsebenzi awukho. Angazi noma bayalandelwa yini babheka umsebenzi bawenza kanjani. Sengibuyela ke la kulento yamanzi. eBizana eKoloni amanzi abantu bakhona abanawo inhlobo bayiwezwa ngendaba bawakha eziphethweni sithi iphethu ukuthi nangazi abanye bathi yini bawakha eziphethweni bawathwala emakhanda bawaphuza nezilwane ama toilet ke inhlobo indle bayilahla entabeni eGiyane nakhona futhi banenkinga enjalo yamanzi. Hayi phela mina ngifuna ngicela ungiphazamisi. Othongathi eFraser
Abantu bakhona abanamanzi, abanawo ngisho i-toilet. If ngase ngikuthathe nje mhlonishwa ngithi asishone khona, ungafika ubone ukuthi la ngempela asidlali, futhi lento sikhuluma ngeindawo engizazi engakuthatha ngokubeka. Kuthi eWard 19 naseWard 9 eNdwedwe. Into nje kubizwa ukuthi intuthuko yaziwa. Amanzi bawaphuza nembongolo, awekho nhlobo. Bese sidlula, ngifuna silalelane kahle bathi ningangiphazamisi. Kwamaphumulo esithundu nasemakhabeleni nakwezinye indawo kwamaphumulo amanzi nje akaziwa, futhi ke labantu abasemakhaya abacatshangwa nakucatshangwa kuba kuye uyakubona ngoba kuyofuna amavoti. After when sebetholile amavoti bashiwa kanjalo ngisho even amakhansela baphuza amanzi angcolile lakho umvoti nje. Umvoti malina izulu amanzi ayangcola, kodwa bawaphuza khona enjalo ngani abanakwe muntu. Okay, siyadlula njalo. Umasipala waseMbombela ngangibukela ke ku TV. Hayi kwamen. Umasipala waseMbombela ngibukela ku TV. Abantu bakhona baphuza amanzi ayisiphethu alethwa ipipe ayanuka phu. Awuwazi lamanzi aqhamuka and lento ikhishwa eSouth Africa yonke ku TV akekho ongayiboni. Hayi wena ujwayela ukuphazamisa uxolo. Thina njenge EFF asizimisele ukubona abantu base South Africa beshiwa ngemuva kulokuthiwa asigubheni lo 20 years, kodwa lento uthuko behlulwa nje amanzi into ezingqala sizinto. And okunye okubhlungu esikubona kwenzeka yilamathenda. Lamathenda lawa iwona hamba phambili, akanakwa akabhekwa. Nanokuthi uhulumeni yena akukho la aveza khona ukuthi akukho la aveza khona ukuthi yena umi kuphi ukuthi ngempela akwazi ukuthi umsebenzi omunye akazenzele wona ukuze alethe amathuba kubantu, ngoba lamathenda okuqala kugcina kubenefit abantu abayifew, kuthi abantu laba abaphansi basale bengenawo umsebenzi. Ngalendlela mina bengiyocela ukuthi masila sazi ukuthi ngempela abantu yini abayidingayo, ngoba lezi indawo engikhuluma ngazo mina ngakuthatha uwozibheka akuwona umdlalo, asidlali njoba silana. Engikujabulela kakhulu mina bengicela yena nje uminister lo ukuthi simthathe umgqibelo sihambe naye akabone ukuthi ngimnikeze ibhakede lamanzi, akabone ukuthi kubhlungu kanjani emakhaya. Awukwazi ngisho ukutshala ngisho
Lunga elihloniphekile ukhawula isikhathi sesiphelile. Ilunga elihloniphekile uMpontshane.
Honorable Chairperson, Honorable Minister, Honorable Deputy Minister, I'm new in this portfolio of water and sanitation. However, issues are not new to me, neither are the people. I live amongst the poorest of the poor, and I know their daily struggles. The pictures of women carrying buckets of water on their heads, traveling long distances, are all too vivid in my mind. And as a consequence, I will not theorize about their daily challenges and struggles. The question, however, is what does this budget have for these people? I know that the total for 2014-15 is over 12 billion, which increases to over 17 billion for 2016-17. These figures will only be meaningful to the people once they have been translated into tangible projects, otherwise, or projects which are aimed at changing people's lives for the better. Otherwise, the much acclaimed Better Life for All will remain an empty slogan. Let me cite two examples, Honourable Minister, to show how the department has failed in many instances to meet its obligations. Firstly, the Shemula water scheme in Umkhanyakude district. This scheme has become dysfunctional. The people in the area have not received any water from it over 5 years now. Can we imagine what would happen in an urban setting if people didn't have water for 5 years in their households? They would definitely make that area ungovernable. But I'm not advocating anarchy here. But the question remains, why does the department treat the people in rural areas with such disdain? Once we note that the amount of 603 million, which was introduced in 2013-14 budget for the municipal water and infrastructure grant to eradicate backlogs in water and sanitation, will increase to 2.8 billion in 2016-17. Without strong leadership and skilled personnel at municipal level, these budgetary increases will be meaningless to the people. Let me cite another example where sanitation has gone wrong. This involves one-room houses which have been built in the Mbazwana area under the Mhlabuyalingana municipality. The toilets, which have non-working septic tanks, are inside these one-room houses. The stench is more than that of the pigs in one of the farms in the northwest
Isikhathi
province. Thank you.
sesiphelile lunga ehlonipheke. Ngizawunikezela kusekela mphathiswa uMamzangwa, Honorable Deputy Minister.
Honorable Chair, Honorable Munkonyane and Deputy Ministers, Honorable Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee, friends, guests in the gallery, family of water and sanitation, let me take this opportunity to greet you all in the name of Department of Water and Sanitation. First and foremost, I would like to thank the African National Congress for giving me the opportunity to stand before you today as Deputy Minister of Water and Sanitation, and most importantly, the people of South Africa for voting the African National Congress into power to serve the nation. I would also like to thank the Department of Rural Development and Land Reform, where I served as a Deputy Minister in my first stint in the executive. With this being my maiden budget vote speech as a Deputy Minister for the new department, I want to say that I look forward for working with Nomvula Mukonyane, my daughter, in the water and sanitation family in bringing quality basic services to the people of South Africa. The President has asked Minister Mukonyane and I to set up a new department for water and sanitation as part of improving delivery of water and sanitation services to communities. Honorable Chairperson, the good story we are telling as the Department of Water and Sanitation will focus on how we have moved forward by increasing the number of people with access to water and sanitation services, and how these interventions are rewarding the country with job creation, skills for priority groups, and better access to potable water and sanitation. Because of the democratic government leading South Africa today, more than 94% of our people have access to water. 84% have access to sanitation system, while 81% of people have electricity, and 71% have domestic waste removed from their homes, and these numbers are growing. Ngeli xesha kulawula i-African National Congress, siza kunciphisa abantu abalanda amanzi emifuleni. Kwakhona sijongile into ebuhlungu eyenziwa ngurhulumente walapha eWestern Cape, owabonakala ethatha wabona ukuba ibafanele abantu bamnyama ukuba abuyele kwelaa nto sithi ziitshemba kudala kuthiwa ngoopotapota. Oopotapota esathi mhla sahamba noMinister Nomvula Mukonyane siyokubona uPremier walapha, yayinto emandi, wasamkela ngothando, wathi nabantu basekhaya bonwabile ziipotapota esibanika zona esiziqokelela emva kweentsuku ezintathu. Imagine uhlale nepotapota iintsuku ezintathu etyotyombeni, ngoba abantu bapha abanye babo abanayo ungandiphazamisi ndaxolisa umama oyi-EFF. Honorable Chairperson, one of the good stories we have to tell is that the department hosted its 6th annual Youth Water Summit. The purpose of the Youth Water Summit is to motivate youth to study maths and science, technology, so that we can build their interest in selecting engineering courses and tertiary institutions, particularly among females. We want to develop more female engineers, Deputy Minister Mtutuzi, Manana. More than 600 delegates from all 9 provinces were hosted this year, including children, educators, sponsors, and partners. Towards the end of the Youth Water Summit, an award ceremony was held where bursaries, laptops, prize money, and fully equipped media classroom worth 2 million was won by Uqumbu Junior Secondary School in the Eastern Cape. Since the inception of this program, 46 media classrooms have been won to date, and this has made big difference in rural communities where the gap between the poor and rich is being bridged. The winners of South African Youth Water Prize from Youth Water Summit will now represent the country during the World Water Week event in Stockholm, Sweden, between 31st August and 5th of September 2014. Ndiyathemba uMinister uzandivumela ndibakhapha abantwana. We are glad to mention the overall winners of this year's Youth Water Prize as learners from Tiqila Secondary School in Pulukwane, Limpopo. I would like us to congratulate Ntabiseng Matona, Tipu Ntane, Tibuchu Mamabulo. These students are our winners of South African Youth Water Prize. Their innovation that won them the prize looks purifying rainwater to level of drinkability. Kuyakhulunywa enye into kula department. Indeed, we have a good story to tell. Honorable Chairperson, another good story to tell is that in response to the shortage of scarce skills, the department has a learning academy that has awarded 648 bursaries since it was established in 2007. The Learning Academy is a pivotal branch of the department because it injects into society capacitated individuals who will go on to work in water sector related projects such as infrastructure and conservation. In the financial year 2013-2014, 12.7 million was transferred to the Learning Academy for students' bursaries relating to science and engineering. I will ask the department to continue employing its own graduates so that we can curb the trend of using consultants consistently. Siyayilwa indaba mamu EFF ye consultants. Ezaqalwa phofu nalapho kade iziningi kakubi. Honorable Chairperson, backlog in providing water and sanitation is not new but comes from colonial apartheid government who deliberately created restrictive and racist laws like Native Land Act in 1913, which caused dispossession to enlad the millions of people living in informal settlements with no access to basic water like clean water, sanitation, and electricity. Yiyo lonto namhlanje mama sine backlog yamanzi. Basisusa ezindaweni ezazinamanzi bayosibekwa kwaNkangala. Namhlanje babuza kwi-African National Congress ukuthi kwenze njani kodwa ukufaka usembizeni phakubo. During the democratic dispensation, we banished all racist laws, legislation, but put in its place the National Water Act and Water Services Act, which treats water as public resource that needs to sustainable, protected, and used for social and economic development. In order for the legislation to continually address the needs of our changing society, we have taken a decision to review the amalgamation of Water Act and Water Services Act into single-piece legislation. Government's responsibility now is to accelerate the delivery of water and sanitation to communities, especially rural communities. So we are saying, abantu abasezilalini siyayazi mama into okunayo sine 20 years qha siphethe asizokwenza umlingo yonke into ilunge ngexesha elinye. Siyayazi into ba kukho itepu ezingenamanzi sijonge uba sijongane. Yiyo lonto uPresident Zuma anyanzelise into kokuba ngenxa yokungabikho kwehoyo kwicala lamanzi akho mandla amaninji okwenza mandenze i-department ezawujongana ncakasane noba bafumane ikwangu-ANC nalowo ubone loo nto, not i-DA. Uba makubekho amanzi, i-department eyijongene ncakasane namanzi, noba sisusa abapota babekwa zizikhohlakali ngapha ekhaya elitsha. Honorable Chairperson, National Water Resource Strategy serves as a clear guide for adopting better water management strategy. The possibility of water shortage in South Africa is a reality if you do not adhere to principles of National Water Resource Strategy. The current trend is for people in the cities, urban, sub-urban areas to gain easy access to water. Though in many rural areas there are taps for water, some people that are based in the deep rural areas still fetch water from the rivers. Siyayazi loo nto, sihlala phaya ezilalini, asifuni ixelwa apha kupodium. Ngaphezulu apha phakathi kwethu umeya wasembizana nankuya uyakhuza uba ngoba ngoku sasiqala uyaphapha endle ngexesha kwakuphethe i-DA futhi singenayo ne-toilet paper usebenzisa ilitye nengca. Ngoku abantu ezilalini banee-toilets. Last year up to 2 million was set aside for further 12 months to fund Adopt a River program, which created close to 600 jobs opportunity for financial aid. The River Health Program was implemented in 110 rivers in 2012-2013,
Honorable
and
Deputy
plans
Minister.
are underway.
Honorable Deputy Minister.
Ndiyayisapota ibudget yamanzi nolindle enkosi.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Deputy Minister. I'm calling upon Honorable Bilankulu.
Honorable Minister, Honorable Deputy Minister, Honorable Chairperson, and honorable members, ladies and gentlemen. Honorable members, allow me on this very important debate on our institution to acknowledge that we have a responsibility as public representatives to safeguard this democracy with its institutions, as laid down in the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. It is our duty to accelerate the pace of implementation, the accountability system of better performance in service delivery and financial management by fully and proper implementing the management and performance reforms. Honorable Chairperson, it is 100% correct that the institution of the Republic of South Africa sets out water resources management as national competency. It also states that everyone has the right to an environment that is not harmful to their health or well-being and supports social justification, economic development. It further states that everyone must have environment protected for the benefits of the current and future generation through reasonable legislative and other measures. Honorable Chairperson, the ANC-led government on its manifesto for 2014 national election committed itself in working with our people to address challenges that we have on the water sector and move forward towards the achievement on the vision of the Freedom Charter. Honorable Chairperson, the ANC will continue to work towards universal access to running water by providing access to those who still don't have it. For an example, 92% of South Africans have access to potable water compared to 60% in 1996. Honorable Balindlela, vaaki va South Africa va le ku kumeni ka mati ku ya hi leswi kunguhatisekiwe xiswona hi nhlangano lowu nga ku fumeni wa African National Congress. Honorable Minister, realizing all the effort made, department also need to accelerate the rollout of basic sanitation infrastructure and water challenges in rural areas and informal settlement. illegal water abstraction, especially by irrigation farmers, present serious challenges. Honorable Minister, challenge leyi va ku na yona ngopfu aka loko van'wani va fane ku seta ti-example ta ku pfumaleka ka mati i ku va van'wamapurasi va yima andleleni. Van'wamapurasi va fika va pfala milambu leyi yisaku mati ku vaaki va kota ku kuma mati siku na siku, yi hetelela mati maya cheleta swimilani ku tlula ku ya nyika vanhu lava va fane ku ya hanya hikokwalaho ka ku mati i vutomi. Loko hi nga ri na mati a ku nge vi na vutomi. Vo tala va lava endlaka swona hi nga va hi tshame na vona kwala, ni sure Honorable Balindlela va nga va van'wani va vona. Honorable Minister, we know for a fact that there are regulations that has been set to regulate water. The regulation aim to change the behavior of water users and water institutions to ensure the sustainable and equitable use, protection, conservation and development of the nation's water resources. The minister, as the shareholder in a number of water sectors institutions, plays a role in providing strategic guidance and oversight to those organizations, which is different from the regulatory role of various organs of state. The primary objective of regulation is to continuously improve compliance by water users and water institutions with rules and authorizations which can result in equity in water allocation and access to water for socio-economic development, to redress race and gender imbalances of the past and to reduce poverty. Honorable Minister, with the regulation system in place, we need to have the budget complemented with human resource, meaning that we support the budget allocation for Vote 38, including filling of vacant posts. La hi vulavula hi ku tiposo leti nga kona ti fane ti ya ti ya pfariwa ku endlela leswaku ku tirha loko hi ku vula ku fikisela vanhu mati ku ta va kona. Ni nga nyika example hi ku vatirhi vo tala lava tirhisiwaka va ka public works i vatirhi lavakulu. So hi fane hi languta ku vatirhi lava thoriwaka sweswi i vatirhi lavantshwa va ha riki na matimba ya ku kota ku yima va tsutsuma va make sure ku vaaki va South Africa va le ku kumeni ka leswi nga va ringanela. In Program 3, Honorable Minister, Water Infrastructure Management, US spending focuses on existing and new water infrastructure projects. The bulk distribution system of the Hope Dam, upgrade of pipeline from Steelport and Mooihoek, pipeline from Bushielo Dam to Mukopani Phase 2B, Umzumbuvu Dam and also Nandoni, Mwamintwa Dam in Greater Zanin. Distribution network and pipelines, by so doing, will be creating jobs and also rendering services to our communities. As the ANC, we support the budget since the budget reflects the goals, the objectives, and the targets set for each program quarterly as well as on annual basis, on the trend over the MTF, both in allocation and expenditure. Na cancer, kanimambo, inko.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. I'm calling upon Honorable Madisha. You have 3 minutes, Honorable Member.
Thank you very much. Honorable Chairperson, if we analyze what has transpired at Motagong in Bloemfontein and hundreds of other service delivery protests across the length and breadth of our country that erupt on a daily basis, we are actually looking at the microcosm of reality, an inability of all spheres of government, whether provincial and national and local government, to deliver and provide the most basic of services, which is the basic provision of water and sanitation. The reality is that government is failing our people. The NDP clearly states that many small and rural and municipalities lack the financial and technical capacity to manage water services adequately. One factor is the corrupt practice of cadre deployment and the corrupt manner in which affirmative action is implemented. Let me make it clear, deploying the so-called cadres to positions of responsibility who do not have the requisite skills, experience, or qualifications is a corrupt practice. It is common cause that in many instances, persons appointed to government positions at all spheres of government are more often than not appointed on the grounds of political affiliation, regardless of skills, capacity, and experience. An audit by South African Institute of Civil Engineers found that the majority of municipalities had no civil engineers, technologists, or technicians. The SA Human Rights Council last year reported that it has received 144 complaints over 2 years about irregular supply and the poor quality of water. Once again, in President Zuma's address, promises were made to once again eradicate the remnants of the bucket system, but 20 years later, nothing's still happening. COPE places the highest premium on the government properly securing our water resources and on achieving the delivery of effective water
Honorable member,
supply
your
and
time
sanitation.
Your time has expired.
Oh. Okay.
Thank you, honorable member. Ndicela ngokuhloniphekileyo umnumzana obekekileyo uGalo eze ngaphambili unemizuzu emithathu.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker or Chairperson. All protocol observed. The AIC believes that of all natural resources, water permeates perhaps most deeply into all aspects of life. It is essential as the air we breathe for our survival. Its presence determines the nature of the natural environment in which we live. The majority of our economic activities depend on it. If that is the case, Honorable Chair, the AIC is deeply concerned about the fact that our rural communities are still in dire need of this natural resource. It is totally unacceptable that after the so-called 20 years of democracy, but we are still having the vast majority of our people in the rural areas sharing water with animals. This is a clear indication that we don't have value-based leadership in this country. But what we are having is transactional leadership, which is concerned with the self-enrichment through underhand activities. We are having here microbes of the state. The time has come for the people of this country to rise against lumpen politicians, because if we don't do that, this country is going nowhere. The AIC is also concerned about the fact that there is seemingly no clear-cut plan for the department to ensure that our rural communities are... There is no clear-cut in terms of how the department is going to develop rural water infrastructure in our rural communities. We are very much concerned. In conclusion, Honorable Chair, the AIC will monitor this budget to ensure that our rural communities are not being undermined. Our rural communities are not being treated as second-class citizens. We are equal human beings, and we must be treated as such. For instance, I'm from Gwalunda village,
Honorable Member,
under
your time
Magadla
has expired.
administrative area in
Honorable
Matatia.
Member.
There is no water
Honorable
here as
Member,
we
your
speak
time has
now.
expired.
There is no water.
Honorable Member,
Thank you very much.
thank you very much, Honorable Member. I'm now calling upon Honorable T. Makondo.
Chairperson, Honorable Minister and Deputy Minister, Honorable Members, ladies and gentlemen. Honorable Chairperson, our constitutional democracy has advanced the right of our people to equality, to protection against racial, gender, and other discrimination, and to the progressive realization of access to basic necessities of life. In the water sector itself, we have seen a state of major change since 1994, with substantial new policy and legislative changes which define the framework for water and sector management in the country. The provision of safe domestic water supplies has reached 95% of the population, showing remarkable strides since 1994. Honorable Minister, the work of the department has evolved substantially and substantively in the years after the attainment of our democracy. Pieces of legislation and constitutional prescripts, new institutional structures, compliance mechanism, and budgetary aspect have systematically been undertaken to ensure that all our citizens have got access to clean water and sanitation. For South Africa, and in relation to water sector, the vision of the African National Congress through the NDP, Government Medium-Term Strategic Framework, National Water Resource Strategy, among other executive documents, has moved towards the creation of a dynamic, people-centered department. The department, in its current and previous undertaking, leads the effective management of the nation's water resources to meet the needs of current and future generations. The strategic goals in line with sustainable development needs of our country include affordable basic water, building, operating, and maintaining infrastructure, and ensuring that institutions are aligned and effectively. Since the creation of democracy in South Africa has been a provision of basic service delivery in an equitable manner. The ANC government has made tremendous achievement in that, but more still need to be done to address the imbalances of the past. The President of the country, the Honorable Jacob Zuma, in his State of Nation address said, and I quote, "South Africa is a dry country with limited resources that requires careful management so that these scarce resources could be used to extend basic water services to every citizen, while meeting the needs of economic growth without threatening the environmental integrity of water resources," close quote. In relation to water sector management, which I specifically speak on today, the intersection of water to every and other sector in this country is critical. Therefore, when the Department of Water emphasized that the purpose of water sector program is, and I quote, "to ensure that the country's water resources are protected, used, developed, conserved, managed, and controlled in a sustainable manner for the benefit of all people and the environment by developing and implementing effective policies and integrated planning strategies, unquote. How exactly will the department, in translating the above purpose, align its budget, plans, and programs to attain its purpose and goals over the medium term? The department has, over the medium term, identified a number of key objectives to realize the purpose of underpinning this program. This is to ensure that the country's water resources are protected, used, developed, conserved, managed, and controlled in a sustainable manner for the benefit of all the people and the environment by developing and implementing effective policies and integrated planning strategies and developing a knowledge base and procedures. Over the medium term, water sector management received an allocation of 597.8 million for 2014 and 15, and 618.9 million for 2015 and 16, and 689 million for 2016 and 17 respectively. Some of the key objectives and targets prioritized over the medium term for this program include the following: ensuring that water resources are managed sustainably and that funding is raised for refurbishing existing infrastructure by gazetting final water pricing strategy by 2014-15. Monitoring the national resource strategy implementation and improve monitoring of water resources. Ensuring the equitable allocation of water resources for social and economic development by implementing water allocation reform. Ensuring that available water is used efficiently by implementing water conservation and demand management program, including sector awareness and mobilization on an ongoing basis over the medium-term expenditure framework, and developing the integrated water quality management strategy. The spending focus over the medium term will be on ensuring the availability and access to water for environmental and socio-economic use through planning, developing policies, and maintaining data management system. This bulk of expenditure in this program will go towards activities in the water information management at a 222 million and integrated planning sub-program at 159 million, which perform these activities. This spending is related to strategic objective of improving water resources and water service information and ensuring the effective performance of water management and service institutions. Under the water sector management program, the department has committed to setting the strategic framework for water management in the country, which entails, among things, revising and gazetting the raw water pricing strategy for consultation, amending water-related legislation, gazetting the second edition of National Water Resource Strategy, and finalizing the institutional realignment framework. It also committed to improving the management of water resources through establishing catchment management agencies and assessing the compliance of 16 water institutions to cooperative governance. Despite the challenges confronting the water sector, the department has begun systematically in relation to water sector management for current and future needs, the planning process to prioritize huge water demands for equitable allocation for development and economic growth. Water sector in South Africa has a number of ongoing and proposed initiatives that have been established to respond to sector challenge. Some of these key initiatives include intervention program in high-risk areas where there are water challenges. The department is investing 500 million in this special intervention program, which focuses on following areas: aging infrastructure, which leads to discharge of sewage into our rivers, water conservation in water-stressed areas and areas where there is illegal abstraction, areas where there is no infrastructure and communities are vulnerable to waterborne diseases, development of water reconciliation strategies for all catchments, implementation of Blue Drop and Green Drops certification program for water treatment and wastewater treatment plants, respectively. Implementing water conservation and water demand management programs. The implementation of National Water Service Infrastructure and Asset Management Strategy. Of importance to this sector is the culmination of gazetting of National Water Resource Strategy, second edition, which factors in the myriad of challenges facing South Africa in the water sector and responding in measures, constructive and logical way, which if implemented by all South Africans will ensure that water serves as an enabler for economic and social development, not as a stumbling block. The second edition of National Water Resource Strategy places strong emphasis on equity in access to water takes place in a context in which South Africa's water resources are under increasing pressure in terms of abstraction, habitat destruction and pollution. Climate change add dimension of stress to the pressure on our water resources. Therefore, the effective management of our scarce water resource in this complex physical, social, and economic matrix requires appropriate strategic and skills and capabilities. The NWRS2 sets out the strategies for achieving such effective water resources management, with a particular but not exclusive focus on the role of the state, specifically the Department of Water as a sector leader, associated sector department impacting resources and its management, catchment management agencies, water service authorities, water boards, and other organs of state with a responsibility for water management. It also focuses on the importance of water use sector to become involved in and commit to effective resources management. A key issue is that this strategy is developed against the backdrop of South Africa being a water-scarce country. That water security and associated equity must be achieved within specific special physical and technological, financial and governance constraints and challenges. South Africa potentially has sufficient water resources, but this can only be secured through the effective and timeless implementation of extended and smart water management option, which I believe the ANC government through the department and its entities is doing very well. Chairperson, the ANC supports this budget so that our people must continue to have water and those who do not have water must have water. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. I'm now calling upon Honorable Basson to take the stand.
Chairperson, Honorable Minister, members and guests. South Africa is one of the few countries in the world that enshrines the basic right of sufficient water in its constitution, stating, everyone has the right to have access to sufficient food and water. However, much remains to be done on this instance. South Africa is a water-stressed country and is facing a number of water challenges and concerns. Despite being a water-scarce country, South Africa faces high levels of water wastage and insufficient use. In municipalities, non-revenue water is at more than 36% at average. And in many municipal supply schemes, it is even worse, with estimated losses up to 90%. The President of the country, the Honorable Jacob Zuma, in his 2010 State of the Nation address stressed that measures would have to be implemented to halve the losses of water by 2014. Unfortunately, this did not happen, and a study by the Water Research Commission in 2012 on the status of non-revenue water found that on 132 usable data sets could only be produced from the 237 data from local government, according to that report. The findings in the study was shocking. The study indicated that there has been a gradual increase in non-revenue water over the last 6 years, with the revenue now standing at 36.8%. Of this, 25.4% is considered to be lost through physical leakage, real losses. In terms of loss of revenue, these losses account to more than 7 billion rand per year. That's enough money to build 14 state-of-the-art hospitals. As it stands, municipalities are legally required to report and control their water losses as per the Water Act. This is not being done by most of the municipalities, and at the end of the day, the consumer pays the price. The need for serious intervention in municipalities is critical and of the highest priority to assist in replacing old infrastructure to balance demands and supply of drinking water. Most municipalities are no longer in a financial position to maintain the infrastructure due to corruption and maladministration. This is also confirmed in the budget report of the department, indicating that they had to support local government by water sector over the medium term by prioritizing improvement in 42 water service authorities with blue drop risk rating, which is above 50%. 55 water service authorities, which risk rates are above 70%. Completing 93 interventions in address lack of water supply, poor water quality, and pollution incidents in municipalities. This kind of intervention no longer works. No programs are put in place to ensure that intervention will not be necessary again. Handing back the treatment plant into the same hands that caused the problem in the first instance is irresponsible and can be seen as a criminal offense. As we all know, a coin has two sides, and with water it's the same. The delivery of clean drinking water and the treatment of water waste, better known as sewer treatment plants. 55% of sewer treatment plants, especially smaller ones, do not meet effluent standards, and some do not even measure effluent equality. Having the Blue Drop certification system for drinking water, the government has launched a Green Drop certification for municipal sewer plants. As of May 2011, 7 out of 159 water treatment plants were certified with a Green Drop, a merely 4%. And 32 of the 1,237 sewer treatment plants were certified with a Green Drop status, only 2.5%. According to Blue Water Bio, an international firm specializing in water waste treatment, there are 1,600 water waste treatment plants in South Africa, not all of which were included in the Green Drop assessment. At least 60% are not meeting compliance requirements. According to a study of the South African Water Research Commission, in partnership with the South African Local Government Association, published in June 2013, 44% of sewer treatment plants included in the sample used inappropriate and expensive technologies. There is a lack of funding for maintenance, and the absence of ring-fencing of revenue for the purpose of maintaining assets is one of the reasons that municipalities run assets to failure. The overall progress on the national scale can be summarized as follows. 440 plants show progress to take up lower risk levels. 323 plants increased their risk levels. 68 plants maintained their status of 2011. And the majority of 241 plants are in a moderate risk. 225 plants is in low risk. 212 plants is in high risk, and 153 plants in critical risk. Now I would like to take the Deputy Minister that had a lot to say about the Western Cape. I would like to take her to the ANC-controlled Northwest. One example of these critical plants is the Rietfontein plant under the control of the Maribeng municipality that was under Section 1391B administration up until the 18th of May 2011. And Deputy Minister, that same municipality is again under Section 154 administration. Is there improvement? No. Is this the good story that you want to tell? The Rietfontein plant discharges water into the Swartspruit River, running into the Hartbeespoort Dam. It was measured on the 12th of May 2014 with an equal count of 820,000 per 100 milliliters. The maximum count level allows is 1,000 per 100 milliliters for sewer plants. Honorable Minister, that's even more alarming is the fact that the previous Minister of Water Affairs, Honorable Edna Malewa, stays in the state where the sewer is dumped with her knowledge. It's the same minister that declared the Brits water purification plant a crime scene in January this year, when 4 people of Mutuklung was killed for protesting for their constitutional right of clean water. And all we ever hear is, we will investigate this matter. The reason for these problems like Mutuklung, Rietfontein, Bloemhof, to name a few, is that South Africa experienced a brain drain that also affects the availability of qualified engineers in water and sanitation utilities. The number of civil engineers in the municipalities has declined from 20 per 100,000 people staying within the municipal boundaries in 1994 to 2.8 in 2009. According to the finding of the Human Science Research Council in 2012, one of the reasons is that official policy of cadre deployment, whereby persons loyal to President Zuma are being given jobs in different branches of government. This process places party loyalty ahead of competence, and it demoralizes public service employees. Skilled staff is concentrated at the national and provincial level, but there is a skill deficit at municipal level. South Africa can no longer afford the high levels of corruption and poor service delivery with yearly increases in water tariffs. The national government is the custodian of water resources in the country, and government act through the minister to fulfill the constitutional mandate. If the minister and the Department of Water and Sanitation are not going to act against municipalities to stop polluting the water resources, we will follow criminal procedure and use the full might of the law to prosecute those guilty of contaminating our water resources. The minister too will then be held to account. News headlines read, and I quote, Bloemhof kills water, leaves grief in the wake. E. coli bacteria in Bloemhof tap water kills infants. 21 Bloemhof babies admitted to hospital. Minstens 15 babas sterf al in Noordwes weens besoedelde water. Minister, is this the ANC good story to tell? In conclusion, Minister, the buck stops with you. You to act and secure South Africa's water resources. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. I'll call upon Honorable Maluleke to take the stage.
Thank you, Chairperson. Honorable members and guests in the gallery, I'm convening this sincere regards to you all on behalf of the glorious movement, African National Congress. Honorable Chair, let me talk with Honorable Balindlema, through you, Chair. Honorable Balindlema, lona le ba le ba reng setlhare sa Mosotho ke lekgowa. ANC o file nako mme gore o buse batho ba ko Eastern Cape.
Order, honorable member.
The member could speak what I can understand. The language that is being said, I do not understand. Please.
Order, honorable members. There
Amen.
are translation facilities available. If they are not working, we will check, but there are translators outside on the booths for this house. Thank you very much, honorable member. You can proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Nozimo, i-ANC ikunikeza isikhathi, nami angisazi isiXhosa, ngizamixa. Yakunikeza isikhathi ukuthi ubuse abantu base-Eastern Cape. Ngoba bewulapha kunganamlungu, azange uyibone lento yokuthi amanzi awekho, kwenzakala ntoni. Kwaza kwafika labantu chieftains ya abathembu yibo bafike lapha kwi-committee ye-water bafika bakhuluma ngalamanzi okukhuluma ngayo manje ukhona uhleli nje ngoba bawufuna umlungu lapha eduse kwakho. Honorable Kaula,
Honorable Member Malulega, honorable members, we seem to have a challenge. The translation is not working. So I'll just appeal to members to be patient. We are trying to resolve the matter.
ngiyabonga Chairperson. Mina ngumtsonga mara ngizathatha every language. Honorable Kaula.
Yes, thank you very much, Chair. This remark, like Lamlungu. Lamlungu, is it parliamentary, Chair?
Honorable member.
Order, honorable members. I will consult and will give the ruling before the end of the session. Honorable member, you can continue.
Ngiyabonga Chairperson. Mina ngithenga umshangana. Ngibulala ka lekhuwa mme. Lekhuwa. Honorable Kaula, sivumela nawe ukuthi bakhona indawo ezingakafikelele amanzi. Siyavuma. Ngoba i-apartheid yiyo yasihlukanisa namanzi. Yabeka amanzi kubalungu. I-ANC ibhizi ihambisana nawo lama pipe kusukela le edorobheni kuye ezilalini. So i-chairperson yami ye-region uSilolhari uthanda ukuthi ikokobetso tla hudisiwa. And utsena ko ya hawo ngeke sithi sihlalele i300 and something years sihleli nje singathola amanzi mara sihleli siphuza lapho asihlaleni futhi na etikibulela ka Setswana ha re duleng re be patient metsi a wa tlo fitla le ko rona ke taba fela ya di budget or ngwaga o budgetiwa so ha nka be le re tšhelete ya tshuliwa mo ne re tla itsara everywhere I phatlhalala so re tshwanetse re budget gore re itse re ngwaga o re ya kwa gore re in 30 years re tla fitla somewhere ya mme Honorable Basson, if I had powers, I will just stand here on the podium and say this EPC is urgent. If you listen to the minister, she has everything that you talked about. She addresses everything that you talk about. You were the councillor in Madibeng also. Opposition doesn't mean you must oppose everything. You must also advise, because those people are also yours.
Chairperson? Would the member take a question?
No. I will urge you, Honorable Basson, just you have the copy of the minister's speech. Read it slowly, and you will understand what she's saying. Thank you, Chairperson. My good story is that where I come from in Matibestad, children from 2009, 2004, those are born in 2004 upwards, they don't have brown teeth. But those before 2004, they have brown teeth. That is the good story I will tell you about.
That's not a,
Thank you, Chair. It's a good story because we have clean water. It's a good story. We have clean water in Mativesta. Thank you, Chair. Chairperson,
Order, Chair.
Chair,
Chairperson, I want you to rule that whether the members of the audience, in particular these officials, have to participate in this debate.
Honorable member, order, honorable members. As you know that in terms of the rule, the members of the gallery don't participate, but at this moment, I've not seen any participation. We will check and then come back to you. Thank you. Honorable members, can we try and respect the speaker on the podium so that we allow her to make her intervention? Thank you.
thank you, Chair. I'll say together we'll move South Africa forward. Honorable Chair, honorable members, on behalf of the ANC, I wish to approach this debate by reflecting on Program 6, that is the implementation of Water Corporation, as one of the critical priorities expressed in the National Development Plan. You agree with me now? Honorable Chair, I should hasten to mention that international water is about international and trans-border water cost management. Outlines how as a country we ensure that integrated water resources management is implemented. This implementation seeks to ensure that there is community on water protocols and agreement as prescribed by the legislation governing the water resource in South Africa. Members of this August House will recall that the United Nations General Assembly adopted a series of resolutions like the observance of World Day of Water in 2000, proclaiming of 2003 as an International Year of Fresh Water, and Resolution 58/217 of December 2003, which culminates into proclaiming the International Decade of Action, commonly known as Water for Life, for the period of 2005-2015. In 2010, the United Nations General Assembly adopted a resolution that proclaimed 2013 as the International Year of Water Corporation. The motive behind this was to highlight the needs for water awareness and conservation thereof. It was sort of project for the year 2013 as a period during which people will be able to work together to address water management in entire world, to work together, not to oppose one another. Following this international directive, as well as align our action to the requirements of International Water Corporation, the South African government included a progressive partnership agreement with Lesotho as a way of maintaining a trans-border water transfer scheme with Lesotho. The agreement plays a critical role in supplying water resources to South Africa. In addition to this, South Africa has had a number of bilateral and multilateral protocols with the neighboring countries in an effort to respond to the need to use, conserve, and maintain water availability as provided by the legislation. Honorable Chair, Honorable Minister, South Africa, to manage being a capable state, the water sector program should be formalized in order to recruit best crop trained for public service with requisite skills in water management techniques. Adequate funding will enable government to attract professional staff through the department's learning academy and mentorship program that help mitigate the impending water crisis as per prediction. Injection of adequate funds will make this a simple exercise as a way of responding to making the International Decade for Action a reality. It is also in this context that Budget 38 responds to the funding necessary for attending regional and international summits aimed at strengthening international water cooperation. This August House notes that South Africa is a semi-arid country with low average on rain reception compared to Lesotho. Lesotho's average rain reception is double to the South Africa. Through this water transfer scheme, our country uses approximately 780 million meters square that was transferred to Gauteng over 70 kilometers via the phase 2 of Lesotho Highlands Water Project. Can you say a good story to tell, Mr. Basson? The ANC-led government is on course in responding to the resolution aligned to international water cooperation through the National Resource Strategy. This is an approach driven by vision aimed at having a sustainable, equitable, and secure water for better life and environment for all. In respect, honorable members, the NWRS2 ensures that the national water resource was managed towards achieving South Africa's growth, development, and socio-economic priorities over the next 9 years. In other words, honorable members, the ANC-led government is guided by the National Water Act 36 of 1998 in confirming to call the Cooperation on International Water Cooperation. Among others, the response included, according to effects, to provide a framework within water will be managed at regional and catchment level, all defined in water management areas. These are just but few examples, areas of focus as expressed in the NWRSR2. I ensure all members of this House that ANC is well positioned as achieve this as we are guided by the 2014 ANC manifesto that make provision to our commitment to multilateral relations and cooperation. This is yet another phase of the overworking ANC in action, led by razor-sharpened brains. We will continue to be part of the international efforts to build a better life for all. Building a better life, a better world, and a better Africa has always been our critical building block of our commitment to add value to the people of South Africa and the rest of the globe. The ANC will never ashamed of a transgressive and overwhelming success that has marked its glorious landmark in this regard. Guided and greatly emphasized by the provision of the International Water Corporation, we can pronounce with confidence that we are moving towards achieving the MDGs, especially on goal number 8, being the development of global partnership for development. In more specific terms, it is means to achieve target 7A of goal 7. The target in goal requires that countries should integrate principle of sustainable development in countries, policies and programs, reverse loss of environmental resources, water in this respect. Most importantly, target 7B of goal 7 makes a provision for the reduction of loss of the proportion total water resource used. The department also stands on a very good platform to make pronouncement on making a good progress on achieving goals. You have heard when the presentation was made in the portfolio committee. As indicated earlier, our approach of water resources protection and use plays as a critical role in development and industrial water. Water is important for development, and the fact that we have measured a place to adhere international resolution is an indication that reliably afford the country to be a convenient signatory of multilateral cooperation. Honorable Chairperson, as the ANC, we have extremely good narrative for the people of South Africa and the rest of the world. We managed to provide pure and clean water to the household in South Africa by a way of illustrating by 2012 as total of 11.6 million households had access to clean water. If this was not a good narrative to the enemies of transformation, the Honorable Chair, if this was not, we will be having everything. Honorable Chairperson, we need to take them on board slowly by showing them that we mean the business. Massive dam has been built for the provision of water to communities. Who can dispute the fact that water is also good for food security? It is in the context and the spirit of the ANC resolute pledge that all efforts and funding will be gathered towards improving the lives of the people,
Provision of water and sanitation are but an indication that our commitment to realize Vision 2030 of NDP always remains a driving force in our pursuit to carry out mandate given to us by over 60% of the electorate. It should also be noted, honorable members, through the honorable chairperson, that as per ANC initiative in the NDP, we will continue to make provision to conservation of water and prerequisites. Accordingly, this will be achievable through the current planning that indicate water and sanitation services.
Honorable
dependent on-
Manduleke, your time is over.
Oh, Chairperson.
Honorable the Minister.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair, members of the House, and thanks for the very vibrant debate and engagement. I wanted to firstly appreciate some of the assertions that have been made through the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee, together with members of the NC in the Portfolio Committee, on the assertion of Section 68, on all of us to look at the role of public works in a developmental state, so that we can be in a position to have sufficient skills that can help us in the area of construction, so that we reduce the cost of doing business as government. We also are acknowledging the issues that we have to deal with on the areas of recruitment, the training, as well as creation of work opportunities, including business opportunities for those who have been disenfranchised over time. I want to also acknowledge what came through members of the African National Congress in the debate, that there is a need to accelerate the water allocation reform, so that then we can contribute that indeed South Africa belongs to all those who live in it, through our own communities that have been historically disadvantaged, being able to access and have quality water, both in the rural areas as well as in the agricultural sector. I agree as well with members of the African National Congress in this House, who are also saying there is a need for us to revisit the role of water associations. Some of them, we know that they came into being out of a negotiated settlement. 20 years down the line, is it a good story to tell that water associations will be constituted on the basis of race and those who felt they were vulnerable when negotiations were taking place in Kempton Park? We also have to deal with the issues
Chairperson.
of farmers.
Would the minister take a question?
I will take the question. I will take the question.
Minister, can you give us an indication on the coli levels in Bloemhof that you are denying at the moment? And what are you doing about that in Bloemhof where children has died?
Firstly, we are on record that just 6 days after my appointment with the deputy minister, when this incident occurred, we quickly intervened in Bloemhof without grandstanding. We paid tribute to the deceased families first, because I'm sure those who are pumping the issue of Bloemhof, you've hardly seen the victims, the parents of the kids that have passed on. You use this as a political football. I'm a mother, any child is my child. That's why we went and met with the families and encouraged those families. And encourage those families that there will be. And
Order, honorable member. Honorable person, can you please refrain from engaging with the minister? You have asked your question.
thank you very much,
She is answering you.
Madam Chair. We even encouraged the families that if they so wish, we will not stand on their way if they want to go on any legal action against the state. However, one death is but one death too many, and hence our interventions. But again, for those who are not grandstanding,
Honorable person.
because we belong, and these children, as I've said, any child is my child. Today as we speak, the mayor is gone. The municipal manager is gone. But we have also been interacting with the families, helping them to cope. Tell no lies, claim no easy victories, and don't come here and behave as if you are concerned. We have also, if I may proceed, because I was answering the honorable
Honorable
question. Angadlisikhathi sami.
Minister, honorable members, can we please refrain from exchanging without hearing an answer? We've asked questions. Minister is answering to you. The question has been answered. I think, Honorable Minister, you can continue.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. We are also dealing with farmers in some of our hinterlands in the country where they are continuously illegally bridging water from the dams. We want to act on them, and we are already acting on them. May I also remind the Democratic Alliance that the referral to the Water Research Commission, it is our commission. It is the commission of this government. It is the commission that provides us with alternatives. And it is a commission that has helped us to contribute.
Chairperson, can we ask Honorable Person whether he's related to Vader Person? He looks very violent.
Honorable members, I will not allow that question to be raised. Can Honorable Person take his seat? Minister, you can continue. Honorable members, can we please allow the debate to proceed?
Point of order. House Chairperson, I rise on Rule 63, which says that no member of the House shall use offensive or unbecoming language. I would submit to you, House Chairperson, that the question asked by the Honourable Member, whether Honourable Basson is related to voter Basson, is offensive, and he should be asked to withdraw it.
Order, honorable members. Order, honorable members. This is a very, it's in the, honorable members. Can we please allow the minister to proceed? I will consult on the matter raised by the chief whip of the DA and come back to you.
On
Thank you.
On a
Thank
point of
you,
order,
Honourable.
Chairperson. On a point of order, Chairperson. Is it parliamentary for a member of parliament in the winter to wear sleeveless dresses?
Honorable members, can we please, honorable members, can we please refrain from disturbing the debate? Honorable members, order. Comrade Johnson, I don't think that's a point of order. I will allow Honorable Minister to proceed. Honorable Chief Whip of the DA?
Chairperson, but that comment made by the Honourable Member is sexist and offensive. It has no place in this debate. We have had rulings already in the House around reference to members' dress code. There's been rulings by the Speaker in the National Assembly on it, and I'd ask that he withdraws that comment. He would never have said that. He would never have said that if the Honourable Member had been a male.
Thank you very much. Order, honorable members. Honorable DA, Chief Whip, as I indicated, I have several points of orders that have been raised. Before we rise, I will make a ruling on all those orders. Can we now allow the Honorable Minister to proceed?
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. The NC-led government, unlike other governments, we never had a flag plus. We created the Water Research Commission. It is that research commission that we continue to draw intelligent information in ensuring that we provide alternatives that are able to take us forward in terms of provision of water and sanitation in South Africa. The report of the HRC, the Human Rights Commission, not the Human Rights Council, Honorable Madisha, is but one of the other pieces of document that, again, out of its own oversight work, is a piece of document that we greatly welcome. And it is a means that is going to help us, as we have said, that on the 1st and the 2nd of August, we're gonna invite the water family so that we can develop a better way forward, responding to all other issues that have emerged out of the diagnostic report that preceded the National Growth Path, out of our own work when we're doing door-to-door in our communities, out of the reports of the Commission and the oversight work that is done by Parliament. But you see, Madam Chair, one of the sad situations about these honorable members and this House is that just as it happened a few months ago, people will come onto a podium and harp about why there is no good story to tell. But today, we have been vindicated by the people of South Africa for bringing back the ANC back into office for us to come in and lead the 5th administration. Secondly, Madam Chair, what is of importance is that if you look at the percentages in terms of the electorate, we are not tourists. We are not tourists in the rural areas. If you talk of Umzimkhulu eMfulamhle, we come from there. If you talk of Itafale Hashi in Kanduli, we come from there. If you come from Tswaying, we come from there. We don't just come in and jump and stir pots because we want votes and leave. No, we don't do that like leaders of other political parties. But also, we want sustainable interventions. The sustainable interventions are not a potter. That's why people do not understand, because they've never had that experience of you having a portable toilet in a single room with you for 3 solid days uncollected, and then you come and show off about the good work of the DA. It's in the white suburbs. It's not in Khayelitsha. It's not in the area. It's not in Luandle. And therefore, what we must really appreciate is that the DA will continue. The DA in the House here and
Madam
across.
Chair. Madam Chair.
I will take a question.
Madam Chair, will the Honourable Minister take a question?
I will take it.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to find out whether the Honourable Minister is aware of a settlement called Silvertown in the Eastern Cape, where the portable toilets were left uncollected for 4 months, and the people had to live and dig their own pit latrines.
You can never sit.
Thank you.
2 wrongs don't make a right. 2 wrongs don't make a right. What has gone wrong in that very informal settlement doesn't justify your ill-thought interventions here in Cape Town. And even there, that's why that municipality is one of those municipalities that we are intervening in. And we do not actually shy away from that. As I'm saying, 2 wrongs don't make a right. We are aware, watch the space. That's why we have a bucket eradication program. We can't justify portable toilets that are kept in people's homes as dignified. We will deal with them. We will deal with them irrespective of whether it's in an ANC-controlled municipality or it is here in the Western Cape. South Africans deserve better. The other thing that I want to respond to, the other issue that I really want to speak on, Madam Chair, it's this happening that continues said by members of the opposition on issues of corruption. Just here, borrow me your ears, just here, a project company called Philcon Project was liquidated in the United States of America until 2024. The owner of this company, Mr. Saul Logenberg, was banned in Britain. But as I'm talking to you, honorable members, this very holier than thou Democratic Alliance here in Cape Town has given that company lucrative businesses. I'm not fabricating the story, it's for the record. Tell no lies, claim no easy victories, account for the 3 billion of the consultants we have used. 3 billion rands used by the Western Cape on consultants and not being able to fill critical posts. And more than 80 engineers, all of them camping here, who are refusing to come and serve our local communities in the rural towns and municipalities, are all locked up here in the Western Cape because it is a white lager. And it's that
Honourable
story that we
Minister,
have to talk about.
The time
Thank you
has
very much.
expired. Honourable members, I knew that the water issue is a very critical issue in our communities. Order, honourable members. I did not realize it would be so heated. There were 3 points of orders that were raised during the sitting. Having consulted on the matter, I would like to make the following observations. Firstly, a point of order was raised by Honorable Balindlela in reference to an alleged statement that was made by Honorable Maluleka. You'd recall that at the time, we had challenge with the translation. So one would not have heard clearly as to the context in which the statement was made. The allegation was that the statement made was a racist reference referring to a member, a white man. I think given that we had this challenge, I would ask Honorable Maluleka whether indeed she made such a statement.
I didn't say a white man. I said Mlungu, not a white man. Sihlalo sa Mosotho ke lekgowa, not a white man.
Thank you very much, Honorable Maluleka. Honorable members, this is a Sotho idiom. And I think in the context it has been made, there is nothing unparliamentary. However, it is important that as members of the House, mindful of the challenge of our cultural diversity, that we are also sensitive at times on how perceptions could be made. So I will just advise honorable members that in the future, we are conscious of this reality. The second point of order was in reference to a question that was asked by Honorable Mzwandile Masina to Honorable Basson, whether there was any relation. Again, this matter in consultation with the table, it is not a matter that we can say it's unparliamentary. However, given the challenges of our political history, we would indeed ask members to be sensitive in this regard. Honorable member.
Chairperson, I just wanted to know whether Honorable Mzwandile is family to Mr. Cloudy.
Thank you, honorable members. Honorable members, I was not opening the space for us to start asking each other's relations. That's why I said in my ruling that we ought to be sensitive on these issues given our political history. The third order related to a statement made by Honorable Lulu Johnson, which was raised by the Honorable Chief Whip of the DA, on whether the statement he made asking whether it is parliamentary that a member in winter must come sleeveless. In consultation with the office, indeed, there may not be anything unparliamentary in the question. However, again, given our history of a patriarchal society and the challenges of gender relations, we would appeal to honorable members to be sensitive in ensuring that we do not make such statements that may be conceived to be sexist statements in their nature. And therefore, I rule that this matter is not unparliamentary. As I said, that there should be sensitivity on all of us on the statements that we made. Having said so, I would like to advise members that the EPC on human settlement will meet at 14 hours in the National Assembly chamber. This concludes the debate on the business of this EPC. The committee will now rise.